And we are apparently live. So let's start this off and see if it works. And here we go. Just checking in live. Hello, everybody. We'll see if it's reversed. It's not reversed. It seems that it's okay. Ho ho, this is nice. Hello, everyone. I'm trying to find what the hell I did here. Okay. Hello, everybody. Pop up the chat. Here we go. And hello, everyone. Moving this here. Spinning this here. Hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. I'm starting this live show. Hope everybody is finding it cool. That it is working out. And got a little problem here. Yeah, it's normal again. Looking good? Cool. I'll need your input throughout the show if anything goes wrong. So yeah, when I'm using the main camera now. Apparently that is the reason why things are in the good, normal way of doing things. So that's nice because I was a little worried about the reverseness of things. But things seems to be okay now. Only thing I don't see the screen, so I don't know how many people watching, stuff like that. I don't see that number show up. But the important thing is that it works. And you had a dream about this live stream. Wow. I don't think I've ever dreamed of me doing a live show. I don't think I've ever dreamed of me doing a live show, honestly. I wonder where I could get, I don't see it on my page. I wonder where I could get the number of, oh, okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. At the bottom of the chat, I've got the numbers. So the 28 watching and 3 likes. Okay, that's cool. Because I like to see the number, you know, when people are there, how many people are watching. It's kind of cool to see that. Hey, everybody, welcome aboard. And this is nice to have you here, all of you. And this is the Shortwave Show Saturday edition. And of course, today is a trip down memory lane. And actually, I forgot to pick up my little book because I'll share some logging. So some of you that are in the, that have been listening for a long time, I've got my old logbook from the 90s. It starts in 1997, this one. I found this today. I thought I'd share some logs that I would do back 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So I think that was kind of cool. So thanks, everybody. Bobby Burgess, thank you for the donation. I did receive it. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much. And we are going to start the show. I've got my first beer, which is a à tout le monde, which means everybody, for everybody, basically. And it's a very low percentage beer. It is 4.5%, so I'm starting easy, and I'm going to end with this tough one, the 9% beer. So hey, yesterday so anyways, you're watching the Shortwave live show. This is a show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles, and we are here every 2 weeks on Saturdays. And of course, yesterday was a live show. Today's another live show. No official time period for live show. You know, it could last anywhere from an hour to 5 hours and a half in 30 minutes, which is a record. You never know what's going to happen. I've got some viewer questions today. Plus, I've got a little trip down memory lane. We'll go back. And I fixed my antenna because yesterday I found that there was something weird with my reception. and I went to see the connections in the back. And hey, there was water that had infiltrated where the connector was. I had sealed it off, but you know, with the winter weather and everything, I had not touched that since last summer. So I guess the winter weather and everything, it just made it kind of the all the that I had put there to kind of keep it watertight kind of gave off at some point. So I redid the connection. I dried up everything. I redid the connection, everything, and it seems a little better because I had some weird things happening this morning. I was tuning around and I said, yeah, something's wrong. There's something not right. So what is weird right now is that I don't see myself, and that is probably the weird thing that I don't like about the way I'm set up right now. So maybe I'll kind of find a little mirror or something to just see whatever is happening. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. Nicolas Hughes, nice to have you here. PLF Radio from France, nice to have you on board. Max Edstrong, hey there. Daniel Walsh, yes, back to normal. Things are now normal. So it is true that when you actually stream from the main camera, everything is normal. It's when you stream from the selfie camera that everything is reversed. So I'm using the main camera instead of the streaming camera for the live show. And of course, I'll need your input throughout the show if it works well, if it's fluid, if it looks good, and I'll be looking at the recorded show also. It will give me an idea of how good the stream was, but I think it's gonna work well. Rondo Kluntz, nice to have you on board from Northeast Illinois. Tuto Channel, hey there, nice to have you here. Nick Amandol from Romania. D. Raf, nice to have you on board from Kingston, New York. Jerry DX, back to normal, absolutely. That's what I wanted to do, and that's going to be the way we're going to stream from now on. This is kind of cool. And what's nice is that I don't use a PC. I stream with the phone, with my old Galaxy S7 phone, and what I find really nice with that, it's that it's very portable. I can stream from everywhere. This is the cool thing about it. Tuto Channel is from Hungary, and nice to have you here. Chris Freitas, nice to have you here. Been following you on your Facebook. Everything you're doing with the radio stuff from Memphis, Tennessee. And says it's been a while since I watched this show. Been crazy busy lately, but glad to have some time to watch. Cool. Welcome aboard. Nice to see people or names that sometimes didn't watch for a while. You know, it's not always easy to watch a live stream. I just look at myself. There's Cosmic Lettuce that has his astronomy stream every night, and God knows I can't be there every night because I got tons of things to do, and I try to be there as much as I can. But you know, you can't always be there, honestly. Donald Osner, nice to have you here. W8SWL in Michigan, trying to watch the Indy car race. From Belle-Île, Detroit River, and follow this too. Wow. Marino Gamer Gameplays, hey there. Using an RTL SDR, that's cool. D-Raf, hey. Broke out my DXing 1103 because of your recent video. You know, I constantly, like I say with my radios, I constantly will be, kind of cycling through all the radios because I don't want to have a radio that's there and doesn't do anything. I like to, bring them out. Radio New Zealand last night, the strongest I've seen in ages, 13840 was coming in very, very well. I was listening to it on my Ethon Traveler 3 Grendig edition, and it was amazing signal. Callum too, nice to have you here. And Chris Ritas is drinking a Sam Adams Summer Ale. Yum. Cheers. Dexfar 74. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. What else do we have? Frequency 5054. You're probably like on 450. Probably you just messed up the numbers. It's 5450. Probably you're mentioning the Royal Air Force Vomit. Bobby Burgess, CQ, W85107 SWL, Morgan City, Louisiana. Thanks for the donation, by the way. And nice to see you here. What else do we have? Cool. Thanks, PLF Radio, and letting me know if everything is all right. Syrian Willow, nice to have you on board. Bonsoir. J'espère que ça va bien. Jerry DX got audio on 9730 AM. Not sure what it is. 9730 AM. Yeah, probably be okay to stream from outside. The only thing is, because it's a phone, I'm stuck at streaming via the wireless, but at least I'm streaming via the 5 gigahertz wireless. And to make sure that it doesn't have too much effect, I actually wired up my desktop that's having the ephedry here, so it has an Ethernet cable going in the back here up to the desktop computer. So basically, almost only thing using Wi-Fi except the chat room from a laptop is my phone to stream out. So I think it's gonna work. So 9730, I'm just gonna check out if I hear something on 9730 personally here. So anything here? Nothing here. And if we look at 9730 kilohertz, is there anything at this time? What language is the transmission, Jerry? Just out of curiosity. 9730 right now should be at this time. CNR1 jammer. There's the CNR1 jammer. So are you hearing the Chinese? But there's a lot of stuff also. There's Son of Hope. I don't think you're hearing that. It's usually the Chinese jammer we hear. And there's Voice of Vietnam that's streaming also at that. So what language is it? If it's in Chinese, it's if it's in Chinese, it's the CNR1, the China National Radio 1 jammer on 9730. Alexander Marks, nice to have you here. And no problem, Callum too. Eric Cottrell, nice to have you here. Maybe stream at the CIDX barbecue again this year. Yeah, that is the plan. Sheldon told me that possibly, if everything works right, it should be Saturday, August 18. And I do plan on streaming from the CIDX barbecue. He told me in advance so that I can, set up the calendar and make sure that I'll be there. And absolutely, it's going to be fun to do it again this year. So we will be live from the CIDX barbecue in Greenfield Park this year again. That's going to be fun. I think that's going to be fun for sure. Weighted Cube, nice to have you here. We have also, just going down a little bit, sorry. Casper Peterson, nice to have you on board. You have set your video settings put back the right way. Well, it's simply a change in the camera. I was using the selfie camera because the selfie camera was fun, is that I can see myself in the phone. So the fun thing about that is I could see if I'm in the frame, if everything's all right. But to have it the right way, you got to stream it with the main camera of the phone. Problem is, the main camera means I don't see the screen, so I can't see if I'm all right or not. But I will from what I've seen of what the largeness of the frame that I've got, I should be okay I'm pretty large here, so I can't really get out of the frame anyways. Max Edstrong's listening on his Kenwood TS450 transceiver and an MFJ 1786 magnetic loop. How do you like that loop, Max Edstrong, by the way? Scott Robson, hey there, nice to have you here. And dreams are weird. Half of the time I don't remember my dreams. If 3/4 of the time I don't remember my dreams. But there are some dreams sometimes you wake up and you're just like, what the hell was my brain on drugs while I was sleeping or something? It's just so weird. The one that I still remember because it stressed me out so much. It was like a zombie apocalypse type dream. And throughout my dream, I am always managing to run away from the zombies. And at the end, just before I wake up, I'm stuck in a corner, and I just can't. There's no more issue. There's no more place I can run to, and the zombies are approaching. And as I am, scared as hell, I wake up. And of course, I wake up and I'm like all stressed out because I was in the middle of getting zombied. And I still remember that one. That one I'll never forget because it's like I remember because it was so intense. And so dreams are crazy. I mean, it's like you're there. It's really like your brain is really putting you in a scenario that's kind of weird, and you are there. BCJ Vids, hey there, KC1HHW. Nice to have you on board from Derbyline, Vermont. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is your channel, radio channel? I'd like to talk about it if it is. What else do we have? Jack N9IIF. Nice to have you here. And always cool to have everybody here. Danny, Shortwave Radio DX. Nice to have you on board. And here it's cooler today. We were hot yesterday, hot and muggy. Today it's right now outside it's about 24, 23 Celsius. Which is like barely above 70, 72, 73 Fahrenheit, something like that. And so it's nice to have everybody on board. What else do we have? Sounds Latin. Kind of weird. 9730, you said, eh? I don't have anything there. That's kind of weird. Maybe a new frequency for something. That's possible. So, cool, Danny, Shortwave. That's what I want to know. So throughout the show, if anything's wrong with the stream, the sound, everything. Douglas Perry, nice to have you here. Chris Alpha Tango, nice to have you on board. I'm actually not using a dongle. I'm using the Fedri, which is the AFEDRI software-defined receiver. It's a little box, and it goes from 100 kilohertz all the way up to 30 megahertz. So it's a long wave, medium wave, short wave software-defined radio with HD SDR as the main software that I'm using. Sounds Spanish, huh? 9730. So yeah, I could do that, Patrick. But the thing is that I already am hogging my router really a lot because I'm using the Fedri through the network, and the problem is this thing is gobbling up gigabytes of data. And so I'm doing that. I'm doing the stream. I got like 3 computers and smartphones all on the router. Not doing a lot, but I don't want to do too much to the router because it will impact the stream for sure. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. I can't stop thinking about you every time I go downtown and I go to this second cup shop, and the girl always says bonjour, hi. And for some reason, that bonjour, hi now has stuck with you, Sheldon. So I just think of you for a second. It's like, yeah, okay. Keegan, X80 X-ray, nice to have you on board between 86 and 88 Fahrenheit, partly sunny. Cool. The K2 says, your clock must be running fast. I show that I'm the one that's behind by a couple of seconds. Yeah, it is possible because I did not have the occasion to set it to synchronize it, so it might be a few seconds. It usually goes fast, so it might be a few seconds fast. Absolutely, it's possible. I didn't think about setting it up correctly. So 2 hands on the radio. Nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Max Headstrong says the MFJ 1786 I have antenna restrictions. I have it indoors in my attic, works great. Cool. That's the fun part when you are able to at least have something, even though it's indoors, but that has good, a good reception. That's the cool thing. Don Hausner is installing his W6 LVP receiving loop this weekend. Trouble with the new rotor delaying any tests. Aha. I hope you get that sorted out. Soon. JDX says went from 90s to 70s. So yeah, it is freezing. You know when we experience like that 90 Fahrenheit for a while, or 30 more plus Celsius, and then it drops to 20, it's like, it feels cold. Feels cold. Emil Jansen, nice to have you on board. Yeah, Nicoleus, we could say it's a general communication software-defined radio. Absolutely. Casper Peterson says, anyone have link? She'll sing in karaoke. My girlfriend wants to sing. Well, I'll post it a little later. It's if you search on YouTube, search Tim Robinson AC/DC, you'll see the guy has a channel dedicated to his favorite band AC/DC and some music, a band that he knows back in England, and he's got several videos of me singing the karaoke. They're not all very good, you know. Some are good, but some are. I was watching them the other day and was like, yeah, okay. Keegan said there was some trouble this morning. Heard NPR station, KUHF, Houston, Texas. Wow. And KWTU from Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's nice. I tried to tune in regularly today to see if there was some sporadic e-skip or anything unusual in the propagation. Not really had anything special. Stephen Matter, nice to have you here from UK. Nice screen on a 24-inch monitor. Cool. 2E0BUE, nice to have you here. Max S. Strong also has a 40-foot dipole in his attic. And the MFJ1786 outperforms it consistently. Cool. That is cool. So you're watching the Shortwave show. We're Saturday, June 2nd. Man, I can't believe we're in June. When June, and I already am, you know, after what, 23 minutes, I already have my first beer. This is real fast. But it's a light beer, you know. So anyways, yeah, Billy Little. No, yeah, that's the one where I sing that Billy Idol song, White Wedding. So anyways, okay, anyways, it's funny because that guy is a big fan of my tech shows and my tech channel. And one of the things that's interesting is that the karaoke bar I go to has a streaming camera, so you see everybody sing in the nighttime. From 0-100, a bit, you know, like starts at 0-100 UT up to when the bar closes at it's 700 UT. And now he wants to know when I go there because he wants to, you know, watch when I sing, and he records that and puts it on his channel. It's kind of funny. I actually got a donation on there's this this woman that gives me donations every month from the U.S. and in her in her PayPal comment on when she gave me the donations, she called me Billy because of Billy Idol song that I sang. Oh God, it's just crazy. So, anyways, hey, I've got something very interesting today. I actually have an old logbook, from the 90s, and you know, if you want to be nostalgic, it's crazy because there's some stuff in here that's just crazy, and you know, you start listening in and watching the different logs. It's just amazing, and you see all these stations are gone. Oh, 9370, 9370, that's where you're listening in. Anything here? I've got a very, very weak something on 9370. So 9370, Jerry, would be, let me just find that, 9370. 9370 at this time. So that would be the only thing that is at this time. Interesting, there's nothing broadcast at 2000 UT on 9370. That's kind of interesting. So I don't know what it is. Some station broadcasting. You know what? I've heard like 2 or 3 stations today. One was on 13580 at, I say, about 1500 UT, and a language I didn't understand, and it's not in the EIBI list. And I was kind of, wow, okay. It doesn't happen that often that EIBI list doesn't have a transmission, you know. It really, really is kind of curious. So, huh. Okay, what else do we have? Keegan says, 5 years ago, an ID of a station, my first via eSkip, 88.9 KNPR, Las Vegas, Nevada. Wow, NPR, June 1st, 2013. 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. On an antenna aimed west on a 50-foot tower. Wow, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So, oh, there's tons PLF radios, tons of shortwave stations in there that don't exist anymore. PM1SBM, Alex, nice to have you here. A pirate, who knows? It's not impossible. It's not written. Oh yeah, PLF radio. I haven't. I need to check it out. The AO key list. I can check that out. Jeff, 85 QDO. Nice to have you on board. 102 degrees today. That's too hot for me. Way too hot for me. I can tell you that. So maybe the AO key list. Yeah, we can check that. 9370 from Mexico. I don't know much stations out of Mexico, honestly, that broadcast on the shortwave. There's like a few low powered, but let's check the AO key list. We're gonna AO key frequency list. I haven't checked that one in such a long time. It used to be one of the main lists that would often check. And for some reason it just I stopped using it. For some reason I stopped using it. Well, there's a guy from the official SWL channel apparently that has talked about it on in August of 2014. Wonder where that guy is. AOK, do they have anything? Anything? I want to have the latest list. So this one will be B17. And we're going to check it out. I downloaded the list. So that's a very extensive list because it's a list that is it's a 1 megabyte list, and it actually has tons of people that okay, do they have anything on 9370 on the list here? Okay, I seem to have done something weird. I've done something, I broke the computer. Okay, let's check it out. Well, 9370. Okay, that's a big list, and it's a tough list to go through. So 9370 at this time, what do we have here? Does AOK have anything about 9370? 9370 is all I've got here is that would match it with this time is the Overcomer Ministry, which would be Brother Stare. And if it'd be Brother Stare, pretty sure you would have known it's Brother Stare. It's the only thing that matches on that list. That's not on the other lists. I would pretty much bet you know who Brother Stare is and know that it's that. So yeah, that's what it's saying here, 9370 WWRB with the Overcomer Ministry. Max S. Strong says 9370, strong here in Michigan. So, kind of interesting. It's the only thing I see listed. And it's not on the EIBI list, but it is on AOKey as Overcomer Ministry. So, kind of interesting. I don't check much the HFCC list. It's kind of too whatever. Is it in English? Anybody listening to it is in English? I don't hear nothing. There's a very, very faint carrier, but I don't hear nothing here. Could it be Brother Stare? You guys hearing Brother Stare or something like that? F. Lassie, nice to have you on board from Delta area, Bay Point, California. Maybe my near future home with my wannabe fiance. Wow, cool. Congratulations. This is nice. This is nice. Cyrano studied French 5 years in government secondary school, in addition to English. Wow. I mean, you know, Jerry says, got in my Occam and is booming S9. Okay. I've my first language is French. Honestly, I did not start speaking English until about the age of 5 or 6 years old, and I learned it from my next door neighbor. They were an Italian family, and I was playing with my you know, you want to, when you're 6 years old, 7 years old, you're outside on the sidewalk. What the hell do? You want to be friends with anyone that wants to play with you. So I started playing with my next door neighbor who was Italian and didn't speak French. So I learned English from that. Apparently, I was a bad boy. My sister told me that at around the age of 6, I was actually using the F word on everybody that was passing in front of the house. And which I don't remember at all, but my sister says that I was calling everybody the F word. Everybody was passing by the house. So shows that, you know, the F word goes a long way. Oh, God. Kind of like Spanish. Huh, okay. Kind of interesting. I don't hear it here, so I don't know. I would like to. Max Etron says 9370 had a strong fade, but sounds like Spanish music. You know, it could be Radio Havana, Cuba also. They have this, you know, this habit of often changing and choosing frequencies without, you know, nobody knowing about it. Does it sound like, is it 12? I'm trying to find out if I can do anything. There's something very strong on 90. Oh, that's Radio Marti. Radio Marti is very strong on 11930.
Una era de conocimientos que dicen comenzará a finales del 2012.
Radio Marti from United States. Okay. Could be Cuba. I wouldn't be surprised it could be Cuba, honestly. Vancouver Island DXer, nice to have you here. Late getting home, but glad to be here. I'm glad to have you here. VE7AUL, VE7011SWL. Nice to have all of you here. Cosmic Lettuce. Nice to have you on board. Max Electronics 14313 full of educational material. Yeah, 14313 is that weird, you know, that is the equivalent of 7200 gang of amateur idiots that are ashamed of the hobby. 14226 talking about World War II activation warships. Rolling. Let's check it out if I hear anything. 14226 Upper sideband. Yeah, I hear it. It's not very strong, but I hear station. By the way, I didn't remember it, but somebody that I have on my Facebook was talking, actually made a Facebook event with the field day. It's field day this month, which will be weekend of June 23rd, 24th, something like that. So this is kind of interesting. Amateur radio field day coming up. And this is cool. I think this is really, really cool. Sheldon says, just check 9370 on VE6 JY Moments SDR in Lamont, Alberta. Strong signal sounds like African music. Huh, okay. Kind of interesting. African music. Wow, what station could that be? What station could that be? You know what? Let's go out on a limb here. Voice of America uses that frequency. Radio Farda uses that frequency, but they're not using it at this time. Well, this is kind of interesting. What is on 9370? What is on 9370? That is interesting. Huh. We got a mystery, guys. What's on 9370? And it, I don't think it's WWRB if that's the case. And there's nothing listed here except WWRB on the AOK list. Huh. We've got a mystery. Let's bring a Scooby-Doo around. Scott Robson says 9370 very strong in Miami. Okay. DK2 says, I've never actually heard any nonsense on 14313. I've heard it on 7200 LSB and many frequencies on 80 meters, but not 14313. Yeah, you know what? I'm wondering if part of those on 14313 has not decided to move to 7200, because since 7200 lower sideband idiots are there, I hear less of idiotic things on 14313. I've noticed. And the K2 says 9370 was Radio Munansi earlier today. Yeah, kind of interesting. Some station is there. Yeah, 93 said, yeah, AOK says that also, WWRB in Tennessee, but they're in English. WWRB is in English usually, and they would, I don't know. Anything can happen, but you know, you never know. What else do we have? Just want to make sure I'm not missing out on anyone. So, Brett Wayne, hey, KC2NXP. Sorry about the huge problem with the donation. But, man, it's a complicated world when you want to send money to another country, it seems. Okay, beer number 2 is a Raftman. So this is beer number 2, a Raftman. This one is a 5.5. So we'll try to keep our head straight to make sure that we are going to be in shape for tomorrow's International Radio Report show. And here it goes. Beautiful beer. Here it goes. Look at that. Beautiful color. I think yesterday I showed the same beer. Cheers, everybody. So anybody IDs 9370? Going to be interesting. I'm beginning to get the feeling my desk is a little too organized, Nicola says. You know, don't be ashamed of that. I wish my desk would be organized. My desks here are a big mess. And you know what confronts me in this is that everybody's sharing on Facebook that thing that says that when your desk is a pile of stuff, Apparently, you're more intelligent. I don't know if that's true, but anyways. Thundercat 1, nice to have you on board. Temperature much lower today, 106 yesterday. Whoa, that's too hot for me. I can tell you that. Too hot for me. What else do we have? What else do we have? Scott Robson says 9370 sounds like Caribbean music to me. Okay, kind of interesting. So DXer 11985 S2 to S4 S5 11985. What's there? Yeah, with a high pitch radio teletype 11985. What is that right now? 11985. 11985. Right now, 2000 UT. It's what? 20. Okay, it's radio. Oh, Radio Japan via Madagascar. It should be French normally. That's funny. I've never heard a radio teletype near that frequency. Yeah, it's in French. It's Radio Japan. Wow, that French accent sounds totally Canadian. I know they have a girl and a guy, I don't remember the names, at Radio Japan that are actually French Canadians. Now that girl sounds French Canadian. She doesn't sound Japanese or, you know, or French from France. She sounds French Canadian totally. So that is Radio Japan via Madagascar on 11985. Coming in okay here. S9, about S9. Not too bad. So Radio Manensi was via WWRB. You know, WWRB and also WHRI have a tendency to have these special transmissions on weekends. So maybe that's what's happening. Scott Bromson says sounds Spanish. So who knows? David Williamson, nice to have you here. Beer there? Yep. Where's the cat? Outside. He's been outside for 3 hours. I don't know where it is. Well, I listen to it because I'm not an amateur radio operator, but I do listen to it. I like listening to Field Day. I find it's a cool way of promoting the amateur hobby. Cosmic Letter's got a kitty attack. You know, the other day, your kitty, when you were actually showing it on your live feed, wow, it was so cute, Cosmic Lettuce. So, leaning towards Africa now, but really like MDK2 says. So it's something towards Africa. Cool, Callum. If you're enjoying the show, that's nice. Yeah, there could be an idea at some point. Tony Perron, nice to have you on board. As far as drinking wine. MDK2, I decided I'm going to donate once every 3 months. My monthly amount. That way, the bite of international transfer fees stings less. Yeah, unfortunately. You know, I got my Patreon yesterday, and of the final amount that I get from Patreon, I calculated there was about $15 that went into fees. Fees from Patreon and fees from PayPal. So that's crazy. These you know, that's the way they work. They make money with money, so they gotta, you know, and Patreon lives half of a percentage of everybody's donation for sure. Transit Radio says, went to Radio Manensi and listened live. It seems to match 9370. Cool. Two Hands on Radio has solved our mystery. It should be Radio Manensi. And probably it's from WWRB 9370. Very, very faint. Can be 100%, but it seems like it could be that. It seems that it could be that. For sure. What else do we have? Root beer is good. I like A&W root beer. My favorite beer is one of the first I tasted. Lagunitas IPA. I don't know that. Huh. Interesting. So hey, Alex P1 SBM. Cheers. Nice to have you here. So okay, that could be it. Oh, so sorry, Calvin. Nothing worse than having your phone stolen. We should have the possibility of like cutting the hands of anybody that touches your phone without permission. I keep my phone with me all the time. I regularly go at restaurants and bars, and I got to tell you one thing. One of the things you do is keep your phone next to you all the time. I usually, when I go out, I usually wear a piece of clothing that has a lot of pockets, so that I can actually have it always with me in a pocket. So like now it's summer, so I got these shorts that have these side pockets. So I always put my phone in the side pockets and shut it real well. It's crazy. Phones get stolen easily, and it's a plague. Cousin Gladys says, I have a very messy desk, and then my cat lays on top of it all and proceeds to knock most of it on the floor. And that's a cat. Pila Freda says, is 9370 kilohertz out of the official shortwave broadcast band? Officially, that's because the bands have changed in size. So officially, the 31 meter band, official size 31 meter band. So the shortwave bands, and if we look at the 31 meter band, so the 31 meter band is supposed to start, technically it starts at 9400. So technically it's out of band, but you know what? There's stations out of band, and that's been going a long time. I remember the 80s. Though most of them were within the ranges, what happened with the frequency ranges is that they were so crowded in the 80s that some stations started thinking, hey, if I broadcast just a little, a little above or a little below the main frequency of the international broadcast band, I'll be heard, no stations to interfere. And that went more and more over time. But here, this is from Wikipedia, by the way. Apparently, officially, the 31 meter band is 9400 to 9900. So anything below 9400, WRMI 9395, for example, anything above 9900, WWCR, or even Greece on 9935, technically are out of band. Technically, they're out of band. So you are right in probably being out of band. Michael Ketchell, nice to have you here. Thank you very much. I am after a portable shortwave receiver which can also receive SSB. Which one would you choose? Honestly, if I would now today decide I want to buy a portable receiver with single sideband, and I need one now, and I want to buy one now, I would go with the Texan PL680. Even though I had a few issues, I would rebuy the Texan PL680. Or 660 is great also. If you can get a Degen DE1103, they're great for sure. The XH Data D808 seems to be a good one. A lot of people are talking about it in a very positive way. These would be some of the choices I would go for, honestly. For sure. Max Tetron at 11985. No, it's not. Well, it's not Japanese, but it's French from Radio Japan on 1195. This is totally French. RTG Ideon, nice to have you here. Good to see you on Saturday. Love your show on Friday. Keep the great work. You are the best always, Randy. Thank you, Randy, in Riverside, California. Nice to have you here. Scott Robson says, I agree. She sounds like a friend of mine who is from Montreal. And yeah, that girl talks like a Canadian French. That is totally a French Canadian accent. Totally. Totally. If you didn't know Radio Canada International doesn't exist anymore, put someone from 20 years ago that doesn't know Radio Canada is gone and make him listen just to a little part of when she talks. And he's going to say, oh, that's Radio Canada International for sure. Gertjan Dembele, nice to have you here from Holland. Andy Tobin, nice to have you here from Newfoundland, Canada. It's fun to see other Canadians. It'd be fun if we'd have one participant from at least every province of Canada. MEC, nice to have you here. What is the show you're talking about that is on tomorrow? International Radio Report. It's a show that is on an FM station here locally on 90.3 FM on ckut.ca if you want to stream it. ckut.ca. It's the International Radio Report, and it airs every Sunday mornings, 14:30 UTC. And I participate every 2 weeks. Tomorrow is my participation. I'll be there with Sheldon Harvey, that's in the chat room right now, and David Asselin, that is co-host there. So tomorrow will be the Three Musketeers Day at the International Radio Report. O'Brien Video, nice to have you here. What is the link for Field Day? Let me check it out. Field Day. There must be an announcement for Field Day 2018. So here we go. This is ARRL page, but this is the Field Day link for all the information. Calvin, nice to have you here. David Williamson says, what happened to your cat? Let me just go back here. You should make him a mascot. Does he go after your computer mice? Well, in the summertime, Paul the cat is a cat that goes outside all the time. He's an outdoor cat, so he's gone hours at a time. To give you guys an idea, he went out, I think it was Wednesday night. I let him out around 10 p.m. and he only came back at 9 a.m. the next morning. And I'm the guy, I don't usually do it, but when the cat's outside, for some reason, I got my brain as an alarm. Every 2 hours I wake up and it's like I gotta go watch if the cat is outside waiting to get in. And I probably wake up maybe 3 or 4 times that night, and the cat wasn't there. I don't know where he goes. I'd be curious. I'd like, what things I want to buy? A collar that has a connection with my phone. I've seen one that's like it's very expensive. It's like $150, but the collar actually will track all of his movements, and I can see on a map in my phone where he's been. And I'm so curious to see where he goes when he's outside. I want to buy one. It's just that $150 for a collar is expensive. You know what, David? My significant other does not want to be on camera, and radio is a extraterrestrial thing, for sure. Daniel Wash, anything new on the Ultralight DX front? You know what? I haven't checked the Ultralight DX information and the any of the blogs recently. For those that wonder what that is, Ultralight DXing is an aspect of the hobby. There are specific radios that actually do qualify for something that, I'm sorry, there's a blinking light, which I don't know why, but anyways. Maybe if something explodes, you'll know why. I got a red blinking light for some reason. Um, so, anyways, ultralight is a type of DXing, a type of hobby, shortwave radio hobby for some. There are specific receivers that are receivers that do not have single sideband. They have to be no bigger than a certain size. So, for example, an example of an ultralight receiver, the Texan PL310 ET, the Texan PL380, they are ultralights. So, small receiver, no single sideband, nothing too fancy. They are there's a part of the hobby where people use these and like push them to the maximum possibility and DX with those. It's kind of the fun of it is to use these inexpensive and small receivers and try to DX the world basically with them. I've not, you know what? Maybe it's time to revisit that. I'm gonna put it down as a comment, as information here. Maybe we should revisit that in the next show or next two shows. It could be um, very interesting to revisit that for sure. So, Sheldon Harvey says 9370 is a relay of radio Nancy. You can parallel their audio. So we found the we found the we solved the mystery. Radio Nancy. That's cool. You know when we have everybody working together and trying to find out something. It's really really nice. Um, Good Jan Dembele says, "Hey John, nice to meet you from Holland. Always look the shortwave radio show. Cool. Thanks for being a fan. It's nice to have you here." David Williamson, do you like Tuborg beer, a Danish beer? I've never had. I've never had. I need to check that out. You know, I need to be less lazy with the beer. Somebody was telling me the other day, when you started doing the shortwave show, you would have a beer, a different beer every time, and it was kind of cool to have that. You drinking and trying out different beers you never had before, and it'd be fun if you come back with that. So the I need to be less lazy instead of going to the grocery store. Even though the grocery store here has a very amazing selection, I need to get some beers I've never tasted and have those during the show. Though, with the case of beer that I bought this weekend, half of it I never drank before. So it's kind of interesting. This one is a Raftman. I already had one. The other one, at Tout le Monde, I had one before. But like the 1837 I had yesterday, I never drank before. And there's other ones. There's one, the blueberry one that is I've never tasted. So it's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Max S. Strong is listening to some faint aeronautical stuff on 11330. Let's check it out here. Can I receive some communications there? Oh, by the way, before I forget it, you guys remember I was wondering if 5505 kilohertz upper sideband, which was Shannon Vomit, if they were still on, because I had not heard them for a long time. Well, behold, this week while tuning the SDR, I saw a little something, and I said, "What's that?" And I clicked, and I heard Shannon Vomit. It seems to be back on 5505 upper sideband. Nicola Hughes says, "My next radio is going to be a Texan PL660. Everything I need." It is a great radio. You'll love it for sure. Steve, nice to have you on board. Well, you know, I expect you to sleep in, especially on a Sunday morning. You know, if I put myself in your pants, I'm not sure I'd wake up at 7 a.m. to watch a guy's shortwave show from the other side of the world. I'm not really sure I'd do that. But then again, it depends if you're an early riser. You know, I'm more of a late riser. You know, as YouTubing that I do, honestly, what's interesting is I can wake up pretty much in time. I do set myself a limit. Somebody was asking me as a YouTuber, I don't have that work schedule. Well, got it on Mondays with Microsoft, and that's it. I don't really have that work schedule. So I usually wake up like at 9 or 9:30 a.m. and get up, make coffee, and start doing things. First thing that I do in the day is preparing my tech news bulletin for my tech channel. So you know, as a YouTuber, you're like you got the life, you know, you got the easy life. Somebody this week, what was the phrase? The phrase was perfect. Somebody this week said, if you're making money without having to get up early and go outside, you've got the easy life. And I thought, well, kind of, you know, although it's tough to make money from YouTube. 12,000, Radio Havana, Cuba.
Nuestra señal se transmite además en tiempo real por medio del portal en internet www.radiohc.co.
Thanks, Harry Cottrell, for sharing the CKUT page. Eventini, nice to have you on board from Northeast Texas. So, Keegan says 12050 S5 at times. 12050. And this, I believe, is WEWN, the Catholic station. Ninja Gamer, nice to have you here. Jason Stafford, do you take calls on the air? Nope, I'm not set up right now for it. And when I asked, there was almost no one that sent me there. But, you know, I think it'd be nice to have those. And I need to set up. Let me go through the summer. Summer will be a little quieter here. And when we get back in September, I've plans for September, starting September, that will kind of boost up the number of live shows I'm doing and change stuff. On the tech channel, I'm making big changes. I'm fed up of doing the tech show that I'm doing right now. But I do want to have a live show on the channel, so I've got a new format in my head that I'm thinking about. The Insider Show also. And a new type of show on another channel that I have that I don't do any live shows actually right now. So starting like September, there's going to be more shows. Hopefully interesting and fun shows to do. Anthony DXer says 11760. That's Cuba also. Let's check it out. It's a little weaker than usual. I hear Cuba a little better than that normally. Ray Kelly, nice to have you on board from Nova Scotia. Jeffrey Crops says, install a CAD door. Have DX chipped. Yeah, well, I do not have a CAD door, and I do not plan to have one. I have planned to. The other day, I was looking at a simple security thing that would actually work with my phone. My phone would vibrate or do a sound if someone comes up on the balcony next to the door. So I thought, oh, that could be cool. DX is not chipped, but he does have a little metal around his neck. I always put his metal when he goes out, so everybody knows his name and my phone number in case, you know. Let me work out the details of the, taking calls of some sort, and we'll try to do something for sure. For sure. We gotta check out what we could do. Field day is on your birthday, MDK2. Ho ho! That's cool. That's cool. My cat goes. Here there's like 30 cats. So basically, it's kind of interesting because there's like cats everywhere. So it's like probably they're having some kind of cat party. Yeah, a lot of people from the Netherlands, absolutely, Alex. Well, Osner says, try using Shortwave schedule website last night and found they are way out of date. to what I was hearing. Huh. Yes, I need a beer sponsor. And or a root beer sponsor. Hey, Ralph Bender, nice to have you here. You, Calvin Morgan, is currently on 14210. Anybody wants to contact him? And let's check out if we hear something on 14210. It's very close to a interference, but I should hear something. Vancouver Island DXer says, just joined CIDX for 3 years. Cool. Might have been a member in the past, but that would have been when I was much younger and affordable radios had poorer performance. So welcome aboard the Canadian International DX Club, Vancouver Island DXer. Really nice. Kind of nice to see that. People joining the CIDX. It's a great, great club, and it has a great publication in the Messenger. So, it's hilarious for us Brits to hear you Americans and sit there and say, put myself in your pants. Okay? Yeah, I realize there's so many, expressions. I one of the best ways that I've seen so many different expressions from or dialects or whatever you call them from the UK is I watched the IT Crowd, which I love, and the references that they have sometimes to and their jokes, which Canadians and Americans totally don't understand. But you guess it must be a funny reply for a British. Activity on 27025. I checked earlier, was nothing, but you never know. You know what? One of the things, and that's one of the questions, somebody asked me, said, well, you've gone 27025 and to check channel 6 for sporadic E-skip. How do you know if a sporadic E-skip is going to come, and I've listened in and out and I don't hear nothing. And one of the things that I want to reply to that is that sporadic E-skip can happen at any time of day or night. And even though they're more prevalent in the May, June, July, August period, or around the Christmas holiday season, they can happen anytime. You can have sporadic E-skip anytime. So my main way of listening, because one of the comments he had was, I see you posted several videos of and I've never heard nothing. So what's the difference? Why is it that I'm not getting anything and you're getting something? The difference is because I am a curious guy that always wants to see if there's something unusual happening. So when I turn on a radio, so say for example here I'm on the software-defined radio. One of my things that I will do quite regularly, honestly, is go on 27025 from time to time. And in a full day of listening, I've gone there probably a dozen times just to check if there's something. And remember, sporadic E-skip happens very suddenly. So you could have, like now, it's quiet. There's no sporadic E-skip here. But you can suddenly in half an hour have tons of it. So it doesn't mean because there's nothing now that you gotta forget about it. You actually might have something happening in half an hour, in an hour. Blanchard, nice to have you here. I should start a Gilles broadcasting channel. Gilles Radio Network. Gilles Radio Network, I like that. What else do we have? On the Gilles Radio Show. Keegan says, when are you going to join the Cats and Radios group on Facebook? DX needs a new audience. Oh, there's a Cats and Radios group on Facebook? Really? I didn't even know about that. Moria 330, good evening. Nice to have you here. Yeah, K index is 4 apparently right now, so it's kind of tricky shortwave. We're just at the threshold of a geomagnetic storm. There's some solar wind coming from a coronal hole this weekend, so it's impacting a little bit of our listening. So signals can go from good to bad, depends. What else do we have? Leon Hutchison, nice to have you here. And with your older radios, do you replace the capacitors? The one behind looks great. So this one here is 1969 Grundig, given to me by Fastload, and that you guys see from time to time in the chat room. You know what? This one is a very complex radio, and actually, when Fastload got it from his father-in-law, I think, he opened it up to clean the contacts and everything, and he thought about maybe recapping, but he turned it on and it works great, and it's a very complex radio. I would say replacing the capacitors in an old radio. For me that is kind of a last. It's one of the last things that I would do. If it works well, I would more or less keep it as it is, rather than start playing with it. For sure. And this is the Grundig satellite transistor 6001, also known by the name of Grundig satellite 210, and it's from 1969. So it was born. That radio was born the same year I was born. So it's kind of easy for me to know that it's a 49-year-old radio. Man. Puerto Vicente de Bonares. Saludos desde Huelva, España. EA7301004 SWL. Radio Escucha. Nice to have you here. Hope you are well, and welcome aboard, my friend. Radiocom, Shannon was audible today here in Northern Ireland. I could hear her at S9 Plus on my SDR and the Walbrook loop. Conditions have been very poor recently for all sideband frequencies. I've had a lot of good reception recently in the lower frequencies, but Shannon is pretty cool. Is there an SDR app for smartphones? Yes, and it's called Touch, SDR Touch. And you can use it with a RTL SDR. It depends on what you're going to use it with. It doesn't work with every device. But SDR Touch is the software. I've got it here. If we look at all the things that I've got here, SDR Touch looks like this. So here it's sideways, but this is what it looks like. So if I actually use my stuff and put the SDR dongle on the connector, here I can tune VHF, UHF range with the SDR. So SDR Touch. I do not believe there's anything else than SDR Touch on Android. On the iPhone, the problem that there's no actually on the iPhone there's nothing like that. And the reason is, on the iPhone, you cannot tap the system. Basically, what happens is that Apple, kind of puts a jail, and you're inside a bubble that you can't go beyond. So there's no SDR software for iPhones or iPads because they can't tap into what they need to actually have it working. So it's mostly Android tablets and smartphones. 73 radio comms. Hey, Mr. Hexadecimal, 0xBACA. Nice to have you on board, Mr. Hexadecimal. The K2 says, glad to hear Shannon Volume is back. We'll look for it this evening. Yeah, I heard it. I think I heard it Tuesday or Wednesday evening. I tuned around outside with my one of my portables, and was surprised to hear it on 5505 kilohertz. Yeah, Firefly Line, nice to have you here. Says keep your eyes on the weather. If there's ETH inversion, then you can have a good radio conditions, especially in the VHF range, 2 meter band, for example. One of the things that I often do to check out for propagation, unique propagation that would have temperature inversions, is I go to the VHF range and I will tune in the NOAA weather radio frequencies. So usually, I've got a problem with the connection here. So you'll hear the weather, and what I'll do is I'll tune the different NOAA weather frequencies, and if I hear something very, very unique, sometimes, like for example, there's one that is pretty far in the state of New York on 162.525. And I usually don't hear anything. But some days I will wake up, and during the day I'll tune 162.525. It booms in with a great signal and lasts for a few hours, and then it's gone. So weather has conditions. Even with the shortwave, the sporadic E-skip stuff, by the way. Temperature is, I believe temperature has something to do with it a lot, because when there are strong fronts, so for example, here was muggy and very hot yesterday. It's cool today. There was a front that went through. And when that goes through, very often I've noticed that sporadic E-skip seems to coincide with it, especially when the front is very active and there's a lot of thunderstorms. So I wouldn't be surprised that part of sporadic E-skip happening has to do with strong thunderstorms and some weather fronts of some sort. I'm not a licensed ham, Firefly, and I know that half of the chat room is saying, go get your ham license, you lazy bum. But I am not, no, I'm not a ham yet. Hans Hubertus, nice to have you here from Germany. Bill, K3WDR, nice to have you on board. I'll check that out. Oh, it's possible you've mentioned it, but it might have moved away from my mind. I have so many things that I think of in a day that there's like some stuff that gets in and others gets pushed out. So it's thanks for the touch info. Very, very cool. Is there room for improvements for the app? Yes, absolutely. It is not well. I find it very difficult to handle. I'll give you an example. Do I have what it needs? I'm sorry. I hope it doesn't affect the stream. So I've got. Let me just check out if I've got what I need. Technically should be here. I should have so this is for the S7. I have the equivalent thing for my my S9 Plus, but I can't find it for some reason, because that's always what happens when you do a live show. You never find what you need. Man, I'm sorry, but I think I won't be able to. Oh, it's here. There we go. So look at that, guys. I'm going to give you an example, okay? So I've got this adapter. I put the RTL dongle here. I don't have the antenna for it really closely. Do I have? Yes, I got it here, I think, even though it doesn't have much. I'll put an alligator clip on it, and hopefully this is going to work. So here we go. So this is the antenna wire for this. And I'll try to give you guys an example here. So let's see if I can just do a little something with alligator clips. Where are you? Alligator clips. Here you are. Alligator clips. And something fell down, and I don't know what it is, but it sounded like glass. And here we go. And something else fell down, and that I know what it is. Okay, let me just put this here as a test. So here's what we're going to do, guys, and you're going to find that probably cool. I hope it's not going to impact the stream too much. So here we go. I'm going to cast my screen and cast. Oops, I gotta turn on Wi-Fi. There we go. And once that is on, actually I've never tested it with my S9 Plus, so cast screen audio on, yeah. So technically I should have this screen here. And here we go. So, okay. So let's put the dongle here. And let's start SDR touch. Driver not found. It doesn't work on here. Oh, it's not installed. Okay, install the driver. Here I'm installing the driver. Won't be very long. Open. Okay. Okay, let's just go back off. And then restart SDR touch. There we go. So, you guys can see there. If I tune in to, so that's music, because I'm in the FM band, jump. So let's go to 162.550. There we go. So this is, let's put spectrum here. So here it goes. Let's move it a little because I'm a little offset. So this is the local volmet here on the volmet, weather radio station 162.55 in Montreal. So it's there. It's not very strong, but it's there. So one of the biggest problems I've got with it is the fact that it's very difficult to operate within the small screen. It's probably great on a tablet, but I wish this would be better on a small screen to tune in. So here you got an example of receiving local weather station. So on a small screen, it's hell to use, honestly. That's the biggest problem that I've got. But apart from that, you know, it's nice. It's a little difficult to go through the different menus also. Find, for example, here I'm offset. Find where the offset is. You know, you got to move on, and so the offset is here. So I need to, you know, try to put an offset on this. I'm not going to play with it now, but so you guys see what it looks like, and I hope that didn't mess up the stream. I'm sorry if it did. So I'm going to stop it right now. So, you know, it's kind of cool and actually uses the SDR dongle. So it's cool for that. So let's go back here, and let's go back to here, and let's disconnect. Here we go. So you guys have seen a little bit of what can be done throughout using your Android device. You know, let's go back to the SDR here. DMI2. So this works with the this is an RTL SDR, $10. $10, and works on PCs, Mac, Chromebooks, and even on an Android tablet or phone. So I hope you guys enjoyed that very small demonstration of how it works. And for those that wonder how I casted my screen of my phone on my TV, I got a Chromecast. That's why. There's a Chromecast on my TV. What else do we have? Charles Williams, nice to have you here from San Diego. Pretty cool. Arendal OK87 says, why my DVB can listen under 25? Because the default SDR, the default RTL SDR, does not go below 25 megahertz. But apparently there's a special driver that is available, that's possible. So, what else do we have? Hey, Juan Amigo, nice to have you here. So Firefly, you got your full license since 1980. That is cool. I need to get mine. I'm a little lazy, I gotta say. BLK3WDR says, check out Hepburn Tropo Forecast. That's cool. Pretty cool. Yes, Nicola, pretty much everything's falling apart here. So this is kind of cool. So I can, cast it and I can use it on my phone. Like I said, the interface is a little small for a screen like this. Although, this S9 Plus does have a 6.2 inch screen, which is a little easier than when I was using it on my S7. But still, it would need improvement for small screens. I think that's the where the improvements need to actually happen on it. So is tomorrow listening to radio DRARC 607 6070 kilohertz. The one that these frequencies from Europe don't usually make it here. Daniel Wash, what does the easy tuning mode function on the 380 DSP do? Is it worth having? Yeah, ETM, easy tuning mode. You know what? ETM, I always thought was a everything that they actually sell you, always there's like gimmicks. This thing is gonna be great. This new feature is gonna be amazing, and you end up with, well, that's not really helpful or anything. It's just mumbo jumbo for for some useless functionality. But ETM actually is really good. ETM, I have found to be using it all the time. It's called easy tuning mode, and it's really nice because you just press the button and it will scan through the international broadcast bands. It will log temporarily in memory every station that it received, and when it's done, you can go through only the station it received. So that means all the stations that you hear typically will be there. So if you're wondering what's on that you can hear right now, you use it. I don't know if I can do a demonstration. It's my PL380 here. I've got the PL310 over here and looking for a 380 that's not here at all, never here when you need it, never here. Oh, here it is. There we go. Wow, I'm finding stuff today, which is a miracle on a live show. So basically, this is the PL380. Typically, you'll open it, and so what you do is, once you set up, once you're somewhere, you want to try out the what stations on the air that you can hear. I don't expect anything to come in very clear here, but we'll try it anyway. So you got ETM, and you see it starts scanning. So now it's scanning for whatever it's going to catch, and there's a counter on the upper right corner as it's scanning, so you know how many stations it actually found. So I'm going to put it next to the window here. Hopefully it's going to work. And once it's over, we're going to check out if it received anything. I'm in my office. I don't expect it to hear much except interference, but I have found it to be a extremely nice feature, and honestly, a good radio. Every good radio should have that today, honestly. PLF radio, can you try a shortwave station on a smartphone? No, because my dongle, the RTL dongle that I have here, doesn't go below 25 megahertz, especially with the driver that's within Android. Dirty Diaper 21, nice to have you here. So between the PL660 and 680, you know, the sync, the PL680 has a sync detector that is amazing. And if I had a choice between both, I'd get the 680. You know, on shortwavelistening.com, there was a review of the 660, there was a review of the 680. When the 680 came out, they reviewed the 680 and they said, you know what? If you have a 660, it's not worth it to get a 680. But if you don't have one and you got to choose between both, get the 680. And I would tend to agree, probably. Cosmic Clutter says, thanks so much, Joe. I'm looking for an excuse project to get into, writing apps. Maybe this will inspire me. You know what? That would be great. If you could write an app, if you can write an app that is better with small touch screens. Because you know, I totally agree with one thing, is that if you have it on a big tablet, an 8, 12, 10-inch tablet, 9-inch tablet, whatever, it is easier there, the touch capability. Thing is, you know, you got big fingers, you got that small slider on the phone, it's very difficult to pinpoint. So for example, when I was tuning the signal, you see that peak, and trying to bring that there, getting the edges because you saw that there was a kind of a light colored bar going through it, that's the bandwidth. Trying to play with the bandwidth to change it a little bigger, a little smaller, whatever, it's so difficult that sometimes you actually get annoyed at using it on a smartphone rather than enjoying yourself. So there's tons of improvements that probably can be done on it. But at least there's something. At least there's something. You know? John Thornton, nice to have you here. I've been learning a lot from you. You have inspired me to listen to Shortwave again. Wow, this is cool. You know, I like that kind of testimony. When somebody tells me I'm back into Shortwave thanks to you. I got amateur radio operators that are going to tell me all the time, you know, I'm back into my ham radio hobby. You know, I went downstairs in the basement and took the transceiver back. It was in a box there for the last 15 years. And I installed it back and I put up an antenna. And because I watch your videos and it's like, wow, this brings me back to how cool radio is, and I want to do it again. You know, it's very, very, very nice, honestly. And I like that. I'm doing something right when something like that happens. I do not have an FM trap on my external antenna. So anyways, you know, it's kind of cool. Vancouver Island DXer says ETM, easy tuning mode, is nice objective way of comparing location, scan, count, move to next site, repeat. One fun experiment was running a scan on the beach and then seeing the station count drop as I walked inland. You know, one of the things I have not done, is I wanted to do a video that would show how when we are close to homes, there's a lot of noise. And what I wanted to do, and I haven't done, and I need to do it, I got to take time this week to do that, is show how easy tuning mode is getting a certain number of stations when I'm next to the house, and then go to the park, far from the house, and do the same easy tuning mode and see the difference in the number of stations that it received. But I gotta say, ETM, really nice. So here goes. It's finished scanning. So did it receive any stations? So easy tuning mode has returned 0, which is totally not surprising, considering the fact that in here it's just noise and nothing else. But believe me, it works well. It's a little slow on the 380. I also have it on my, do I have it close to me? Not really see it right now, but my GP5 SSB has easy tuning mode also. I gotta say on the, on the GP5 it's much faster. It's much faster on the GP5, the easy tuning mode. And not only is it faster, it's more sensitive. So not only is it a little faster and you have to wait less, it also receives more on the GP5 SSB. So but any radio that has the easy tuning mode functionality is actually it's fun. It's fun. It only works on AM mode and it only works in the international broadcast bands. By the way, it's very important to understand that. They have it also on the 310 ET, by the way. Yeah, it's PLF radio. Yeah, probably the person behind it is made it easier to use with a stylus. But it's like most of us don't use a stylus. We use our fingers. So but yeah, probably. Sheldon says 9650 Radio Guinea from Guinea Republic in French. Weak signal here in the Greenfield Park, strong on the VE6JY SDR. Let's see if I hear anything here on 9650. Very weak. I see it on the display, but it's very, very weak. Emil Jansen, do you know any programming languages? I used to play around with things like C++ and stuff like that, but I haven't programmed anything in a very long time. So I'm zero at programming anything, honestly. So no problem, Daniel Wash. You're watching the Shortwave show, and hey, in case you guys find it really cool to watch my show, I don't know if you guys can see it, but we'll post it here. Donations. So if you guys can see that, you can donate to me. Help me out in what I'm doing, and join either the 10 patrons on patreon.com that are giving me a little something every day. That was actually yesterday was the payday for Patreon, and or PayPal.me/shortwave is a great way to send me something. If it doesn't work for some reason, you go to your PayPal account and you send it to the Yahoo email that you see here. That I totally realize is complex, but it's the way it is. And it is nice to receive donations from all of you. Thanks, guys, for those that have donated. And you know what? Don't forget that if you have never donated, this is kind of going to those out there that have never donated and can spare a little something. Why not? If you think this is worth it, why not? Why not do it? Why not think about it? And wow, this is clear. I can really read it well. So thanks for the donations, and it's really helping out tremendously, guys. And I can afford to buy new equipment, also to maybe buy a radio to review, stuff like that. Donations can be also in form of hardware, by the way. And if you wish to donate, as I found out this week, if you wish to donate from somewhere else in the world, you need to go to the post office and make sure that you do a international postal money order in order for me to get money. So thanks for everybody that have donated, by the way. And it's a pleasure to be here and doing these live shows for you. What else do we have? So, you're watching the Shortwave show. Max Headstrong says, your show really enhances my enjoyment of Shortwave. More fun than listening alone. Absolutely. And this is, what is also cool about this. Having people from everywhere. We're all together and we're enjoying radio. We're enjoying something. I always say this, I probably repeat myself a million times. Radio for all of us. Once this is over, what happens? We're going to be alone with our little radios. Don't expect your wife to say, hey, I'm going to listen to a Shortwave with you tonight. That's probably going to be a bad date. And, we're all going to be alone with our radios, pretty much. Here is a place where we're having fun. Some of you will learn stuff. I learn stuff. Sometimes you guys tell me or talk about something I didn't know about. You know, I don't know everything. There's tons of things I have no knowledge about or very little knowledge about in the radio sphere. But we're all together having fun. It's something that is cool, you know. And when I say the internet is not what makes shortwave go away, but the internet is helping our hobby. It is totally helping our hobby. I mean, this is an example. Using the internet for a fantastic thing that is shortwave radio, you know, or amateur radio. You know, if I get my ham license, who knows? Maybe there'll be a new show, and you know, we'll have shortwave show, and we'll have the ham radio show. All sorts of little things. So thanks for being here, because without you guys, it would be impossible. Would be impossible to have such a fun time. And you know, I would be talking to myself, which I wish I do pretty much, probably several times a day. I was a little embarrassed the other day. I was thinking of a subject for the live show, and you know what? Sometimes I'm a little too enthusiastic about what the hell I'm going to talk about, and I want to talk about it in a certain way. And it happens, you know, when you're in your home, it's not too bad, but sometimes it happens. I start talking as if in front of the camera, but no one's there. And the other day, it was on the sidewalk. I was going to the grocery store, and I was talking out loud when I realized that there were three people in front of me that were like looking at me like, this guy is strange. And they actually changed sides of the street because they probably thought I was some kind of nut on the sidewalk. And it made me realize, okay, I am talking, you know, I am really talking right now to myself. And I totally understand why they were scared. But, you know, thanks you guys, because without you guys, it wouldn't be possible to have to have a show. And this is a cool place. Honestly, this is cool. So, and you know, I can send back the same thing about Cosmic Lettuce, who has an astronomy show, and it's the same thing. He's got a passion for science. He's got a passion for astronomy. He wants to share it with us, and it's obvious that he every night at 0200 is little stream that he does. He wants to have us understand and appreciate what science and astronomy is all about. And I gotta say, your love for science and astronomy is showing through your channel also in your live shows, Cosmic Lettuce. So Casey Red Dragon, hello there. Nice to have you here. Eric Cottrell says, I'm a senior shortwave engineer. Mostly use C++ on embedded processors. So, haha, that's nice. That's nice. Max Strong says, it's great fun to hang out with other radio lovers. Nicola says, I too love talking with Jill and all you guys. Yeah, it is great. It is great. Good night, Dex Farr from Germany. Nice to have you on board as usual. PC Red Dragon says 9420. Greece is coming in. Check it out. Yeah. It is there. It's some Greek music. 9420 kilohertz from Greece. Take care, Sheldon. See you tomorrow on the International Radio Report. I'll be happy to be there. And have a nice evening, Sheldon. Interesting broadcast on 9350, says KC Red Dragon. So let's check it out. It's a little weak, but I do hear 9350. And hey, that idiot that gives me a thumbs down showed up, and it's just funny. Makes me laugh. Makes me laugh. WWCR with an old-time radio show, 9350. I like to listen to the old time. You know, like listening to it on something like this gives it more bigger dimension. You know, kind of interesting. Max Edstrong says 9350, faint in Michigan. Take care, PLF Radio. Nice to have you on board. Next show is Friday, June 8th. It's coming Friday, 2000 UTC. Look at that, guys. I will choose a random page in my logbook, and we will share together, or I will share with you, what I heard. Here we go. What I heard on the week of 6 to 12 October 1997. So you guys want to know what I was hearing in that week in 1997? I'm going to actually give you the logs, and this is going to show you also how I had very little noise, honestly, back then. VK2 FBAJ, nice to have you here from Sydney, Australia. Donald Osner says solid S9 Plus in northern Michigan. So, my first log, Voice of Russia on 15595 at 0120 UT. Wow, that's kind of cool. And it had a Arts and Culture show in English. Wow. Okay. Radio Korea International 15575 at 2300 hours UTC. My simple code is 44444, which is pretty good. The Voice of Turkey. Oh man, I forgot this one. Africa #1. You guys remember that station? That was in French from Gabon. 9580. Africa #1 from Gabon, French with news. Wow. This is amazing. What unusual stations is there in here? Okay, we had Radio Norway International that I received on September 8, 1998. Radio Norway International. Radio Finland with news in English. Wow. This is crazy. Totally crazy. Radio Prague from Czech Republic. What do they have here? Radio Cairo, WFLA. I was listening to WFLA FM stream on 25870 FM. Radio Australia. La Voz Cristiana from Chile. HCJB in Quito, Ecuador, South America. Wow. Channel Africa. Man, this is Swiss Radio International. Radio Nigeria. Call Israel. All of these, amazing. All of these are amazing. Radio Exterior de España in French. Radio International Serbia and Montenegro. RAI, Italy. What else do we have unusual in here? Swiss Radio International. Radio Canada International. Wow. Radio Netherlands. You guys remember that? Deutsche Welle. Crazy. Brings back souvenirs of all these stations from Tom. Brings back souvenirs, I can tell you that. So you're watching the Shortwave Radio Show with an hour and 50 minutes within the show. And we're going to answer a few more questions that we've got from listeners. Let me just check out if everything is all right here. Everything seems to be good. And it's pretty cool to have all of you on board as usual. So the stream with the Galaxy S7, you guys, what's your guys' verdict? Is it Is it cool to stay like that? So is the stream going well with the phone? I keep it like this. It's okay. Pretty cool. Thanks, Brian, Vancouver Island DXer, for the donation, by the way. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And what else do we have? Let's check it out here. Cool. John Thornston says, seems great. Red Wayne says it's good here. So I guess we found it well. Yeah, streaming with my S7 Cosmic Lettuce. Totally. If VK2 BAJ says on his iPhone 7 Plus stream at 720p looks great. Cool. Wash looks great. Thanks for your advice. Cool. Stream looks great. Great video. Audio clear and nice. Well, I guess we found my streaming device. Since I had my new S9 Plus, that was something that I was kind of wondering. What do I do in my S7? I didn't want to depart from my S7. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to, some people, when they buy a new thing or they get some new radio, I see that all the time in some of the forums. The guy gets a new shortwave radio and now sells the old one. Because I got a few people that said, well, you should sell your S7. It's in top shape. It works great, still works great. And it's still a very powerful phone. But I was like, I don't want to sell it. I don't feel like selling my phone. And I feel like keeping it for something. And one of the things I was thinking of is using it for the SDR touch capability. But when my PC crashed and I reformatted and I had to see how I would stream again, I was looking for some, am I going to reinstall myself in the same old way that I was doing before? And I thought, man, the S7 has in a 4K camera, it could actually do 4K videos. So I thought, you know what, I could use it to stream. Why not? So we got the answer. Works great. Works great. It does come quite hot when it's hot, but I think it can handle it. It's not worse than playing games with it anyways. And so I think it's cool. I think this is the new streaming. And it's very portable. It's a very portable way of streaming. I still have, anyways, the Logitech C920 with Wirecast in my laptop if I ever wish to, stream with that. So that's cool. And I think we got a winner. We got a winner. That's really, really nice. KC Red Dragon's got some PSK on 20 meters on 1407. Oh, yeah, 1407 is usually PSK 31. You're hearing any PSK 31 here? It's very weak, but I can hear a little bit of it. Firefly said there are a couple of websites that have shortwave tunable SDR that people can use if they do not have shortwave radio. It's free and you have control of the SDR. Yeah, absolutely. One of the ones that I actually use the most is SDR.hu, because SDR.hu has tons of online receivers. Absolutely. Max Edstrong. I love keeping my old radios. I have an old ICOM R7000 that I just can't bear to part with, even though I hardly use it. It's really sad because I had some great receivers that I departed with because, let's face it, in life, we have our ups and downs. And I remember when I was unemployed when I was about, 23, 24 years old. I was unemployed for about a year. And I needed money. And I sold some of the radios that I had to have a little bit of cash. But today when I think about it, and when I think about how, little cash anyways I got from them, I thought, well, why did I sell them? I would have kept my DX302, realistic DX302. I would have kept my Panasonic RFB 2800. I would have kept the Panasonic RFB 300. I would have kept a few more scanners, portable scanners that I had. I would have, I would have had more radios in my collection. I would have kept my Grundig. What was it? The Grundig Yacht Boy 400. That was a very nice portable radio. For a long time, I had that as my main portable. I would have had some interesting stuff, honestly. And there's some. Let's try to decode some MFSK here. Oops, that's not what we use for MFSK, obviously. Why am I clicking that all the time? It's too visible. I want to click that thing. We're going to go here. And we're going to go to PSK mode. PSK. Where is PSK? It's always tough to find VPSK31. Here we go. So when we get one, we'll see what we... Very good, clear. Oh, this decode is really bad. Trying to decode something that looks something. Something that looks like something. I can't use FLDG. I have I glitch with FLDG on this machine. So we'll wait if it has any other thing showing up. What do we have? Max S Strong says 15520 strong in Michigan. Yeah, I was tuning at Spain earlier today. It was very, very, very good. I'm not getting anything. This is useless. 15520, let's try Spain. Yeah, pretty good signal.
Como decía antes, la muralla es el símbolo de Ávila, una de nuestras señas de identidad más importantes, y así debe seguir siéndolo en el futuro. El documento general que hoy presentamos así lo constata y lo establece. La muralla de Ávila es y seguirá dándonos buenas noticias.
So 15520. Hello there, Mr. Raptor 22 Stealth. Nice to have you on board, David, in Barcelona. Better late than ever, apparently. That's what they say. Heavy Lassie says he still got his 2800. I wish I had mine. I miss that thing so much. There would be so many beautiful radios here if it wasn't for the fact that I sold some of these. And I had so little money for it. I really should, VK2 at BAJ says, it may be sad when you have to sell a prize radio, but even worse if you break a radio. My prize Syngene 803A broke while moving house about 10 years ago. Oh, that is sad. MDK2's got it on 17855. Let's try it out here. Is 17 meter band working? Oops, 855. I could see it barely on the display, but it's not strong enough. Radar on 13820. I've got nothing on 13820 here. Max S Strong. BK2 BAJ says, in my last radio, which I bought while overseas in China, got rain affected. Oh, man. Max S Strong says, it is sad to lose a radio. I have a Kenwood TS850 that just died. Debating whether to repair or replace. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome aboard, David. You know, it's I think it has the way that it's the way that the signal skips. I might be in one of these zones where the signal is actually jumping over me rather than um, being on me. Yeah, I think that's Germany, right? 13882 is, I believe, the German. Right now it's just a carrier. I believe that's the Germany fax station for sure. So, you are watching the Shortwave show. Hope you're enjoying yourselves, guys. Always nice to be here. Always nice to do these shows for you guys. And now we know that the streaming with the Galaxy S7 phone is perfect. So I'm going to keep it like that. So Firefly, for the last few years, I could actually show you guys now, since it's not being used. For the past few years, this is what was a streaming device for the live shows. And it's the Logitech C920, which is this little thing here. And it is an amazing camera. Does 1080p. And for years, I've been using this. But with the reinstall, I've now decided to use my old Galaxy S7 smartphone, since it replaces my, I got my Galaxy S9 Plus now. So it seems that the Galaxy S7 Plus working well for the streaming. But I will still use the Logitech C920 for sure. Take care, Nicolas. Nice to have you on board as usual. So right now we're streaming with the main camera of my Galaxy S7 phone, which is cool. Oh, I think it. It's really fading hard, but let's try to decode something. It's a very noisy map that we're going to get. This is the decoding of a German weather fax. It's a little noisy, but it's working. We can kind of make out the map slowly. So 13882 upper sideband. It's this is from Germany. Hey, Stephen Hull, nice to have you here. And cheers, everybody, as we are starting hour number 3 of the Shortwave Show. So we see that there's a lineup of a map. It's noisy, but it's there, we can decode it. This is, by the way, for those that wondered, multi-PSK software. MDK2, yeah. So many beers you lose track of the hour. Like what? Yeah, Germany. It is cool. Even though it's noisy and all weird, actually it's cool to decode. You know, I usually decode from you know, more local like Boston or one of the North American maritime stations. But it's cool to decode from, you know, like from Europe now, like from Germany. I'm almost wondering if it's not the first time I try it, honestly. Aha, Pinot Noir. I say strong. It's getting into the wine. It's funny because I still remember when I was starting out in digital modes and I got my SWL cartridge for the Commodore 64, and I would see all the, you know, the digital modes and wonder, wow, you know, trying to get a digital decoder of some sort. It's incredible today what you could do with all these software in a computer. It is kind of nice to see. So MDK2 was trying to decode fax from Seoul, Korea the other day. It didn't come out well. Yeah, when they're far away and there's a lot of fluttering, it's difficult to decode any signals. MDK2 could detect a fax signal from Australia, I think Waluna. It was definitely too weak. You know, one that I've never been able to decode that I wanted to do? Last summer, I remember seeing the New Zealand Navtex weather transmission. I received it on the radio when it turned on. The signal was there, but man, it was so weak that I could get like 2 or 3 words, and then I'd get garbage for about 2 minutes, and then I'd get 2 or 3 other words, and I told myself, I gotta try that one from New Zealand regularly. It's in the 16 megahertz frequency range, and I believe it's like at 0400 or something like that. 0330, 04, 0430. I'm trying to remember, and I swore to myself I gotta listen in every night if I have to. But one day, when the signal's better than usual, I want to have a decode from that New Zealand Navtex, for sure. Already I had the one that amazed me, the Argentine Navtex at the 12 megahertz range the other day, it was several months back, that I posted a video about. That was impressive. And it was nice to see, you know, when something you do on shortwave also has something to do with what's happening in the world. And you know, when that submarine disappeared, that I believe they've never found, which is an Argentine submarine, and I would see the Navtex giving the coordinates of where the search rescue was going on. It's kind of cool. You look at that and you're like, wow, this is part of everyday news of what's happening around the world. And this is another aspect of shortwave that is fun. When shortwave reaches the everyday life of something that's happening, and so many times the occasion was there, you know, something's happening in the country, they have a shortwave outlet and they talk about it. It is interesting, and it adds to the power of shortwave, but it adds to the enjoyment of shortwave. I can tell you that. So you know, kind of cool. Yeah, I don't recall, Jerry. I don't recall ever decoding a. I have one from Europe, Jerry, which is G. What's the call sign? Golf Whiskey Alpha, GWA. That weather fax from the UK, and I have one video from that weather fax from the UK. I don't believe I've ever done it with Germany. Unfortunately, you can't really make out much. I was hoping to see, I don't know what type of map that is, but would have been nice to see like the contours of, you know, like Europe. Max Destroy says, I take back the dirt cheap comment about the Kenwood 450. Looks like they are going in the 500 range on eBay. Yeah, but you know, eBay is so expensive for a lot of old receivers or transceivers, and I'm like, come on, that's not worth it, that price. Vancouver Island DXer, how do I get the signal from the radio software to the decoder software on the same computer? I have done it with my Perseus SDR by using virtual audio cable, but that was awkward. So this computer has stereo mix. It's not every computer that has that, and you need to have the latest drivers often to have it. So what happens is that within the computer, here the map is ending now. If I look at my peripherals, one thing's called stereo mix. So you add that, and that is kind of a virtual cable, a little bit like the virtual audio cable you're talking about. So it's the only thing. So I added stereo mix, which means that all the sound coming from my computer goes through that virtual stereo mix thing. And it is, so when I go to my decoding software, I choose stereo mix as the source of the sound. And it works well. But unfortunately, not all computers actually do it. Some computers don't have stereo mix. For example, when I use SDR console on my laptop, I got a Windows 10 laptop here, I cannot add stereo mix. It's not a possibility. So that makes it more complicated. But in this case, I got stereo mix. It all is handled within the hardware. So that's cool. No cables to plug anything. So, you know. Many sold listings at 500. Huh. Kiss Red Dragon, 6175 China. Oops. That was not a good place. 6175, anything here? Yeah, it's there. It's weak, but it's there. 6340. Yeah, this one is Boston. So if I go here and put myself here, we'll try to see what it decodes. I can put this a little lower and it's still going to work. So why the hell am I doing this all the time? This is not what I want. So this is Boston 6340. Weatherfax from Boston. PA1WX, hey. I did a little donation for the awesome shortwave shows you're doing. It helps me and you. If it's okay, it has been transferred. Well, thank you very much, Brian. Much appreciated. And it's very nice of you to do donation. You know, it's always something that's cool. So I'm excited to hear arrive. Thanks so much for the donation, Brian. And I could see here, I get little pop-ups of different things. So we're going to wait for the next map, see if there's interesting maps out of Boston. So thanks, Brian, for the donation. Much appreciated. I would not, I don't know, you know, what was the price of the Kenwood TS450 at the origin? It was, what, $1,500 maybe? Maybe. And you know, it's an old rig. I mean, the TS450 is something that is what, almost 30 years old. $500 for a Kenwood 450 seems a little steep. You know, it's I know it has the same basic internals as the Kenwood R5000 receiver. I would not pay $500 for a used Kenwood R5000. 150, 175, maybe. 500, no. Yeah, but Casey Red Dragon, it is dependent on your hardware. It's not all the PCs. There's a lot of PCs that come with crappy sound devices that do not do it. And yes, it is hidden on most part. You got to show the hidden devices within that sound, uh, within the sound. So Vancouver Island DX, remember that it's often is hidden. So when you go to your, if you right click the speaker icon and you go to your recording stuff, you make sure when you right click there and that you want to see all the stuff that's deactivated or unplugged. So here we go. This is a nice little. Let's move it. There we go. We'll see what that map looks like. I move the black line. So just but you got to be careful, Casey Red Dragon, because a lot of PCs actually don't have it. A lot of PCs come with crappy audio hardware or chips. Plus, make sure you got a good driver, the latest drivers, because sometimes one of the things about stereo mix is that the stereo mix will. I was about to say something. God, I forgot. Oh yeah, depending on your driver installed. It doesn't work only with Realtek sound cards, MEC. Stereo mix can be there in several devices, but you know the majority of PCs come with Realtek sound cards. 6501 U.S. Coast Guard. So this is the map. Let's just do a little bit of the map, and we'll try 6501 from Chesapeake, Virginia, probably. Max Ed Strong says Kenwood TS450 was the stripped down version of the 850. They both rival my Drake R8B and ICOM 8600. Take care, Daniel Walsh. It's nice to have you on board. I still think the TS850 is my favorite SSB receiver. So you guys are watching the Shortwave show. If you're wondering what that is, we're decoding a WeatherFax chart from a shortwave signal. So if I remove this, you could see that this is the tune frequency, 6339 kilohertz upper sideband. That comes out of Boston, Massachusetts. These are maritime weather charts being sent out on shortwave. And basically with software like Multi-PSK, you decode the weather charts. So here you see the cold and warm fronts and everything. It's kind of cool, you know. It's kind of cool. I can tell you that. So let's try 6501. 6501. Is it still there? It's a little weak. It is there.
Southeast winds less than 10 knots. East to left. Runway north. Southeast winds less than 10 knots.
I believe they're at 8764. Very weak on 8764. Let's see if we hear Royal Air Force vomit on. Yeah, Royal Air Force vomit from the UK on 11253 upper sideband. Hey Jerry DX, I've been to Boston also. We went to the Boston Aquarium. Actually, we were passing through Boston. We're going down the East Coast to go to Provincetown. We stopped at a few places, including Boston, long time ago. Yeah, space is probably a big problem when you want to get radios, especially when you get these big transceivers and these big receivers. It's it does take a lot of space. Hey, Mad Boy, nice to have you on board. Really, really nice to have you on board. David in Barcelona says my Asus laptop doesn't have stereo mix, so what I do is use a free virtual audio cable software called VB Cable that creates two audio devices. One is cable input, and the other one is cable output. Cool. I'll try that out. I'll try the VB cable thing on my Windows 10 machine because I'd like to do some videos sometimes with SDR console and I'm receiving stuff. JDX says, same here. Went to Fenway Park and did a whale watch tour. Good time. And Ralph Bender also uses VB cable, so we're going to check that out. VB cable. 10051. Yeah, Gander. A little stronger in 6604. Well, these are Gander, Newfoundland, Canada, I believe. I'll try that out. VB cable. I didn't think about it. I remembered seeing a software that did it, but I didn't remember the name, and I didn't remember it. I'm gonna install that on the main my Windows 10 because it's an insider machine, so it's kind of complicated. Sometimes I got to reinstall the stuff because of the insider builds that go in the PC. So you are watching the Shortwave radio show. Let's check it out here. Okay. And much appreciated for the donations, guys. Thank you very much. What else do we have? Okay. Cosmic Lettuce says, yeah, I need to look at VB cable too. Thanks so much for the reminder. Yeah, I kind of forgot about it, honestly. Kissy Red Dragon said jammer or DRM on 11930. No, it's a jammer. All the frequencies from Radio Marti are... Yeah, we could hear it. That is a Cuban jammer. Every frequency of Radio Marti is pretty much hooked to a jammer. And we hear it well on 11930. We hear it really, really well. Take care, Firefly. Nice to have you here. G8 SBS. Nice to have you here. Is that a raspberry jam or a strawberry jam? So, anyways. Yep, only a matter of pointing the source software, in my case, RTL SDR and with HD SDR, to the cabled input. Cool. We'll be checking that out for sure. I haven't had any success with DRM. I see all the information, I see it pop up, I see it tells me even what station it is. It's capable of telling me that's Radio Romania, DRM. Don't have audio. I'm just... Jack Dyer, hello, I'm new to Shortwave. What is a jammer and why do they do that? Haha, that's a good question. So, a lot of countries jam transmissions from others. Hey, Rob Webster, nice to have you here from the UK. So, an example is Cuba. So, Radio Marti, for those that don't know what it is, it's a US station that is broadcasting to Cuba with news and current affairs for the Cuban community in Cuba. Cuba doesn't like that. So they jam Radio Marti to try to prevent it from coming in their territory. So all the frequencies of Radio Marti are jammed from the Cuban government because they don't want that transmission to make it to Cuba. Unfortunately, and fortunately, at the same time, um, jamming is very ineffective. So, even though they jam, very often it has very little effect. Some days it will jam and it will work really well. Other days it won't jam very well because shortwave changes all the time. And the stations still go through Cuba. Another example of jamming that we see on the shortwave bands is China. China has several types of jamming. One is called fire trick, which is kind of Chinese music. It's kind of Chinese traditional music that is sent on frequencies and played, for hours at a time. And these are meant to actually mostly target Voice of Hope from Taiwan, but also certain transmissions like from the BBC World Service and Radio Free Asia. One of the things that China has been doing lately that's a little more, you can't say it's a jammer, but you obviously, looking at the frequencies they use, you can understand that they're jamming other transmissions. And it's using the Chinese National Radio 1 outlet, which is the main Chinese news and information channel from China. And they put them on shortwave frequencies of other transmissions they don't want to go through. So like that, it prevents their own population from learning the truth about something they don't want to talk about. So, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it that goes on. Honestly, and there's many countries around the world are jamming. Vietnam is still jamming transmissions. So there's all sorts of little things like that. Billy Laptop, hey, nice to have you here. Good image quality. Well, we found the best streaming device in the world in my old Galaxy S7 phone. Cheers, everybody. Hey there, TOT. Nice to have you here. So there's a lot of countries that jam transmissions, but the thing is, they're not super effective. Honestly, jamming on shortwave has never been a very effective form of making people not see what you actually want to do. One of the examples is when in the 80s, I remember in the 80s we had these terrible, and I mean, the USSR from the time, the Russians were spending millions of dollars in jamming. And we have jamming everywhere on the band. It was crazy times in the 80s and 70s. And still, there were a lot of people still receiving transmissions from stations they didn't know. They didn't want it, Alex, do you know if there is much shortwave activity in Australia or New Zealand? Well, there's Radio New Zealand that actually make it really, really well. And at 13840 in the evening, around 030400 here, I've heard it very, very well. So Radio New Zealand is the main station you want to try. Australia has a few stations, including some of the stations that have in the 5 megahertz range, but they're low powered. Unfortunately, Radio Australia ceased transmissions on shortwave last year, so not that much, but there's still some stuff from Australia. But you'll get Radio New Zealand. You'll get mostly Radio New Zealand as your best bet for a good signal from a station in the Pacific. Vancouver Island DXer says, I don't see what the U.S. even bothers with Radio RT because when I was in Havana, I had no trouble hearing a variety of U.S. medium wave stations from many U.S. states just by using a cheap portable. Yeah, it's one of those things sometimes that you're like, yeah, okay. Continue wasting your money. VK2 of BHA is mentioning in Australia there's 2 small commercial stations, Aussie Radio on 4835, and 4KZ on 5055. Thing is, here I've never heard them. Maybe if I'm really quiet because they're low powered, But I do see some logs, some people logging them from time to time in North America and Europe. So kind of cool. I wish I could hear them, but I probably have too much noise to DX them. The easiest catch for the South Pacific is near Radio New Zealand. And I had a great example last night. It was coming in really well. Really well. I can tell you that. So, hey guys, I'm hungry and I'm a little tired. We've been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the show today. We're going to call it quits for tonight. Thanks again for those that want to donate. This is the coordinates, the information. And we found a new streaming device that works very well, clear and beautiful. Hope you enjoyed today's show. And we'll be back on Friday, June 8th, this coming Friday, 2000 hours Universal Time, usual time, for our Shortwave show. Thanks, everybody, for being great fans. Thanks for being here. Cosmic Lettuce, I'll try to be there at your stream tonight at 0200. And thanks for everything you do. Eric, thanks for the show. Streaming is great. Cool. I found my device. I found a really cool device now to stream with. And this is going to be my main device now. Take care, everybody. Love you all. It's always great to have you on board. And bye-bye, my friends. I need to take the phone now to actually do something about it. Have a great time, guys. Have a great weekend. And hope to see you soon. All of you.